So here we are once again. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I get the great honor and pleasure of welcoming people in who have been important in my life to share something good. So it's a great time of day. We've gotten great feedback on it, and today I welcome somebody who we just figured out I know for more than 30 years. So I am so excited to welcome my friend, a colleague, a great person, Marci Shienbaum. Boom, take it away. It's your chance to tell us something good.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me. It's really exciting. I'm in Detroit right now, and so of course I'm going to show off the greenery because we don't have it all this, every all
Wow.
season. So I'm in my backyard actually, and taking a little bit of a break here with work to talk with you. And yes, over 30 years. I mean, I
That's
prompted you
insane.
on something we forgot. I know.
Right.
And I obviously have admired you for such a long time, and
Thank
we
you.
have done business together. We were friends. And, go back to, I was listening to your huddle this morning and just thinking it's all about connecting. So no
All
matter
about
what,
connecting.
it's all about connecting. And even in my business, it really started with something and then it ended up to be all about connecting with people. So
Which I love. So just to give people some insight, you tickled my brain, and you may be one of the only people that know me in every career stop. Everything. You knew me when I was in the clothing business. You knew me when I was in the phone business with ABC. And then you watched me build on the ball because you were friendly with my next door neighbor. I mean,
right.
so it's fascinating. So that story in and of itself is incredible. Why don't you share with the audience a little bit about your career journey? Because I knew you. I think you were a salesperson for waste management.
It was
Is that right?
BFI, Waste and
BFI,
Recycling. Yes,
right?
that was
And you
prior
were
to
like
the
the top
acquisition.
salesperson. You were like a shark, man. It's just
You know what? I've been in sales my whole life. Followed my family; they were always in sales, and we I grew up in Detroit, and then I relocated to Miami in 1984 and went to school and started working for BFI Waste and Recycling. I handled the city of Miami Beach was my territory, and I handled hotels, restaurants, and bars.
tough
So
life.
it was amazing. It was all about connecting, retention, taking care of people. They took care of me as well. I absolutely loved it. And then at the time was my boyfriend. We had the opportunity to move back to Detroit to work for a company called Rock Financial, which everybody now knows as Quicken Loans.
That's
And that
exactly
was
right.
in 1998. And so we relocated back here, and we've been here almost 22 years. I worked for
Has it been
Quicken.
22 years? I remember when you were leaving. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
I
insane.
know.
It's
I know.
insane.
So July 4th weekend is 22 years that we packed everything up in our car and we moved back here. And I,
So Jay's been with Quicken for 22 years?
yeah, yeah.
Holy cow. Wow. That's
So when I
insane.
moved back here, I got transferred and worked for BFI, but it just obviously wasn't the city of Miami Beach. It was
No.
completely different. And then my brother, who also has been with the company for 30 years, almost 30 years, he said, "You're wasting your time. Like, come to work with us." So he taught me the business, and I worked as a mortgage banker for 10 years at Quicken. I always loved to entertain and I always loved to cook. And then, time evolved. We had a couple kids. I worked part time. Um, and then, my kids are getting older and I'm still loving to cook and entertain. And, cooking is one of those things you've got to love it. If you don't love it,
So I'm going to interrupt you for a second
yeah,
because, we were talking before this. It's always about connections and, relationships. That's been the driver in my career, who I know, how I know them. I was doing work in Detroit, so I want to share this story. You and I hadn't seen each other in a really long time.
long
I went
time.
on LinkedIn and I said, okay, LinkedIn, tell me who I know in Detroit. Boom, you were top of the list. I reached out to you before I got on the plane. By the time I landed in Detroit, you said, I'm picking you up and we're going to have dinner and, and wound up working for us for a while. You were our rep in Detroit.
Totally. And I feel like it was interesting because I always had the skill set to do that. And just with that opportunity of seeing you and getting to talk to you, I thought, well, I can do that. Like, why can't I do that? And so I did. And
you were great.
Amazing.
You were great. You were awesome. Fantastic. And it was so much fun. You showed me a Detroit that I had no idea existed. I mean, clearly your relationship with the founder of Quicken and all of that, if you want to share his name, that's fine. But, when I took the tour with your brother, 100 buildings downtown, the whole story, the hotels, the fascinating. You talk about great entrepreneurial stories. I mean, that's, and that's a connection of yours since you were a child.
Yeah. I mean, family, friends, grew up in the neighborhood. He's been a huge mentor to me. I'm referring to Dan Gilbert. Our family, they're family to us. And so
much so that when you introduced me to him, and I don't know if you remember this, he got off the elevator wearing like he just got done running. It was like he was wearing Nike shorts, and it was like, "Hey, how you doing, Steve? Good to see you." And I was like, "That, it was great. It was awesome."
He's a regular guy,
He's a regular guy.
He built this business. He is the most creative thinker I've ever met in my entire life, and I feel like if you can be, creative thinker and not be afraid to take risks, you will find a lot of success.
That is real wisdom. So the second thing I want to talk about, which is where you were going, is I constantly tell people, do what you love and the money will follow. Firm believer in passion. One of the things that does not get taught enough is, hey, you can be anything you want to be if that's what you want to be it, So you have a roadmap. You started talking about cooking. Please share with everybody here because I love what you have done.
Thank you.
And I'm hungry all the time.
I know. Like I said, I'm raising two boys. They're both athletes. They both need to eat. They're hungry all the time. And I always love to be in the kitchen. And so I started, cooking with friends, and then people started reaching out to me that they needed my services. And so I thought, I can do this, and I was, posting pictures and getting just a lot of feedback. So I started cooking for families, teaching meal prep, teaching classes. And I want to say, and I've been doing this for a while, but I want to say, like, I was at the Forbes 30 Under 30 conference in Detroit, and just watching all these entrepreneurs do things that they loved. And I was with a friend who owns a fitness club, and he said, you can do this. And he is a marketing genius. And he said, I'm going to make you a logo, and all my friends were like, you should call it this and you should call it that. And all of a sudden, like the end of December, I get this email with this logo on it. And I thought, wow, okay, this is the time to do it. And actually, this logo is right there. It's Marci's Kitchen.
And I love it.
He made me this apron. And so as of January 1st, I officially launched my business. Official, but I've been doing this forever. And it's been amazing. It's been so much fun. And especially during this quarantine, I've done a lot of online classes. We have to learn how to reinvent ourselves. And it allows me to be totally flexible raising my kids, work from home, and I'm good at it. And I thought, like, if you're good at something, because a lot of people, they are either good at cooking or they're bad at cooking. So
right.
I thought, and I was encouraged.
Or even worse, they're bad, but they think they're good.
I think that's most moms.
Right. Oh, I can do that.
Exactly. And I just, everybody encouraged me. I had a ton of encouragement from my circle, and I just decided I'm going to go for it. And I did. And it was the best decision I ever made.
So you hit on so many great points about the entrepreneurial journey. Certainly you need to have a passion for what you do. You need to fine tune that craft. And that is from the pictures I have seen, literally, they're magnificent. The
Yeah.
presentation of the food that you make, you've taken, I think, some ordinary dishes and really turned them around. But I want you to speak a little deeper about the community it takes for an entrepreneur to be, the support you get. People think, oh, I'm going to become an entrepreneur, and it's a solo journey, not even close.
Not even close, right? And I'm glad you mentioned that, because like I said, it was my community and my friends and my family members that pushed me and supported me and said, you can do this. There is a real need for this. And, growing the business is something that I'm working on right now, but it has to be the right opportunity, because, I cook with love. And when you cook with love and you do what you love, you can't always give it to somebody else to do. And so if
Correct.
I grow, I'm only one person. What am I going to get a storefront and then start hiring people? And so that's in the works. And that's something that, I have my eye on something, and, we'll see where that takes us. But for right now, I just feel like it was the support of my friends, my family, the love for what I do. And I take ordinary dishes, like you said, and they look spectacular. They taste spectacular. And, you have to be willing to not only make things you like, because I have a husband who's a vegetarian, and boys, we all try and eat healthy. So you have to even cook things you don't like. I have clients.
That's a really interesting point. That's,
yeah,
because, right, if you really want to, I love that, because I never really thought about it like that, because everything I cook personally, I like. That's why I'm cooking it.
Right. I never
Otherwise,
cooked Indian food before. But,
Indian food?
So I never cooked Indian food because it wasn't really part of my palate, but I have clients so I practiced some recipes, and, I always say, like, feedback is my best, I need feedback.
Right. And so, feedback, like, as in, this tastes good, or I can't believe how bad this is.
Right. I've never had that tastes really bad. But
good for you, man. That's awesome.
Like, try this or try that. My clients have been super supportive of me, and I can cook a lot of food in one day. So typically what I do is, with my clients on the weekly basis, is I pick menu for them, and then I cook everything on Monday and deliver everything for the week. And I'll do a big salad bar and, things that are readily available for the family. When you have kids that are coming in and out of the house, everybody's kind of eating at different schedules. Everything's accessible for them when they're ready. And so I've learned a lot throughout the journey. And it's been really fun. It really has.
I love it. So, gotta ask, what's your favorite dish?
Oh, people ask me that all the time.
Of course, right.
I would say that I make an amazing Chinese chicken salad, as random as it is. It's delicious. It's like my number one request.
Really?
I make a lot of fish, a lot of caramelized salmon, which is one of my favorites. That's my family's favorite too.
Wow.
But I make chickpea stew, which I don't care for. I don't really love chickpeas, but my husband loves it. And so I do that. A lot of grilled fish and a lot of grilled chicken. I'm out here in my winter coat grilling in the winter time.
Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. Love it.
I don't know. I mean, it's funny. The more I cook, the less I eat. So, because I'm cooking all day, I won't eat a morsel of food just because I'm busy. And I just, it's been really good for me.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So I'm going to switch gears on you. And this is a challenge that many people in the business world have to deal with. Working mother, working father. So you brought it up. You've got 2 boys. I know the journey of your oldest. Please share with the audience, because that is really something good. His career, his path through high school, and now where his next stop. So please share.
Right. So it's definitely something good and something to be proud of. So I have 2 boys. My oldest just graduated high school about 3 weeks ago via drive-by graduation.
No kidding. Wow.
different.
Yeah.
It was different. I'll tell you, but it was meaningful. It was. We learned to make the best of these things. As much as they missed, spring break, senior all-night party, all that, we made it good. And both my boys are total athletes. They've always played baseball, basketball, and football. I never let them play tackle football. And it's interesting because you'll see where we end up. But they always played flag football. I was too scared. And one of my son's middle school basketball coaches is the freshman football coach at the high school and just kept pushing. You're so good. You should play. You should play. You should play. He begged me. I finally was said, only because of those coaches will I let you do it, because I trust them. So he started to play on the freshman team as tight end. I don't know that much about football. I gotta be honest. I better start learning. And so he excelled, in high school. We learned to love it. We met the most amazing families that shared this journey with us. And he wanted to go to college, never imagined that he would ever play football in college. I said, you're never going to the NFL anyhow. Just be resourceful, do good in school, and go to college and get, a degree. And so he started this position as the long snapper. And for those of you who don't know, he's the guy who snaps the ball to the kicker. And
it's a tough position.
It's a tough position. I was like, this is safe though, because they can't rush you. I'm like, I can go for this, And apparently he was really good at it. His snaps were so accurate. They obviously gave him that position full time, and he was still playing a little bit of tight end, but really he was the snapper. And he's applying for colleges, and he gets into a couple great schools, and he says, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do that. Meantime, he gets a call from this school here in Michigan, which was called Siena Heights. And they said, we saw your film and we really want you to talk to you about, coming to play for us. He had gone to Brandon Cornblue's kicking and snapping camp, which Brandon Cornblue, I love you.
He knows my son. He knows Mark really well. Yeah.
It was kind of crazy. And I never knew anything about him, but he did the camps. The camps were amazing. And he was getting this great feedback from the camps. And he ended up being ranked 8th in the nation after he did these camps. And so schools started looking at him. So he went to Siena Heights. He said, I don't know if it's the right school for me. It's very small. I said, well, go. It's like going on a job interview. Just go check it out and see how it is. So he went to the meeting, and while he was at the meeting, he got a call from Brandon Cornblue, and Brandon said, Sam, I have the coach from Army looking for a long snapper. And I told him, you're my guy. I know. And what do you think? And Sam said, I'd love to talk to him. And within 3 days, the coach from Army showed up at our house. It was really like in a movie. He sat us down at our table and he said, I saw your film. You come highly, touted from Brandon, who's the best in the business. We would love for you to come play for Army. And they offered him a spot right there and then. And so, with that comes a service. It's not just playing football. It's giving service to your country for an additional 5 years. So that was big. And so they invited us to come out.
You think? 18-year-olds are phobic of commitment to begin with, let alone something like that, which is amazing.
Right. And he was like the nicest guy. And we were just soaking it all in. And so we decided, they invited us to come out for a visit. And so we went out for a visit, and I don't know if anybody's been to West Point, but wow.
Oh, it's spectacular.
Blown away. Just incredible. Wonderful trip. And we spent the whole day touring and learning and everything with a bunch of other recruits. And then at the end of that meeting, Coach Monken, who's the head coach for Army, called us into the office, and he handed Sam a certificate, and he said, we would like to officially offer you a spot on this team. And Sam said, I need some time to think about it. And coach said, I'm giving you 2 days. We have not scouted anybody else for this position. You're our guy. You have until Sunday to decide. I think this was on Thursday, or it was Friday. So, I mean, we said to him, listen, this is a huge commitment, but we encouraged him. We said, there's no opportunity like this. This is like going to the Super Bowl. Okay. Like, this just doesn't happen. But you have to know that you're going to be committed for an additional 5 years after to serve your country. And, you know, the opportunities that are going to be available to him after this is, you know, after his football career.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
And so he is leaving July 20th. And
you better not cry.
Oh my God. I've cried, but I won't right now.
I know.
It's been a lot, you know, just the application process, and it's so rigorous. It's been amazing. He's super excited. Actually, there's another boy who played on his team who's going to play for Navy.
Oh, so no kidding. Even better.
Yeah,
wow, look at that. That's great.
Yeah, we have
that's awesome.
5 boys from our high school going to military academies. 1 playing baseball in Air Force, 2 playing football, and 2 just direct admits.
Well, so I thank him ahead of time for his service commitment. I saw Brendan at the when he was here for the Super Bowl. I was actually at an event and I ran into him. So, you know, and him and my son know each other. So anyway, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit of the Marci world. Marci's Kitchen, I'll put information on there. People can find you online.
Marci's Kitchen 2020 on Instagram.
Okay. And they can take your courses, and you're communicating with people all over the world, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. All the time. All the time.
Love it.
And thank you so much for having me. And
you're amazing.
You and I will connect. We have other stuff that we'll work on.
Yes, we are. Yes, we do. Anything that pertains to scaling your business, you know, I'm sitting in the co-pilot seat with you. I love what you're doing. And you know, these are the same issues that face most entrepreneurs. What do I do next? Well, you already took the first big step, which is the hard one. Now it's maneuvering, but you got the car on the track, and I'm super proud of you and super happy. And thank you for spending time telling us something good.
Thanks, Steve. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God.